We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am still in India. It's 2:30 in the morning, but we do this every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. California time and 4 p.m. Eastern time. But Samir is with us. Samir, do you want to do a quick intro for people who haven't heard from you or haven't watched you, which would be very surprising, but still.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Yudi. Hi, everyone. I'm Samir Kedekar, immigration lawyer from Silicon Valley. And I'm actually in the US Pacific Coast time right now, but Yudi looks more awake than I do. So congrats to you, Yudi. You're looking great.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've decided to stay jet lagged so that I can do this.
Amazing.
uh, Awesome. Cool. Maybe if there's any new immigration update, maybe we can start there. I know I have a bunch of questions, but
Mhm.
like, is there any updates on a wage-based rule or the like 4-year F1 visa rule, or like have we gotten any kind of new updates?
We haven't. There aren't any real updates yet. Um, the government shutdown still exists. Um, Part of the DOL has reopened.
Hmm.
But we were able to file LCAs,
Yeah.
but we're not sure if we can get them certified yet. So it's kind of a open question right now
Mm.
as far as H1B transfers. Not much more on the EAD rule other than what came out, the other day. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it applies to H4 EADs and AOS EADs. So
Mm.
there's that. Nothing more on the wage rule. Nothing more on the F1 rule. And of
Mm.
course, we have the 100K fee rule that's being challenged in two different courts right now. So we'll have some updates on that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. And I think was there any like a fee increase? Um, they has the fees increased for TN visa? Do you know about this one?
TN visas, there might have been a slight increase. So TN visas, you have to pay a kind of a small amount at the border for the entity for.
Hmm.
So I'm not aware if there was an increase there. But there are no filing fees paid at the border, if that's what you're asking. If you
Yeah.
file with USCIS, those fees have been in place for a while, and they've been pretty similar.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. All right. I see that there are already a bunch of questions, so we'll start there and then we'll keep going. Okay. Here we go. Number one. I'm currently on OPT EAD. I have applied for H1B through Company A and currently under approval. I recently been offered a new role from Company B, which might not provide sponsorship. So it's a three-part question. My employment with Company A has not yet started. If I take up employment with Company B on OPT as of now, when my H1B is approved, will I be violating any laws? I guess that's the question. And then, for instance, if H1B is approved in mid-January, what will be my H1B start date look like?
Yeah, so I don't know how to answer that last question without looking at your petition, but in most cases, the start date is the date of the approval. Because now we're talking about this is a lottery case, right? This was filed back in whatever it was, April, May, June, and it's still pending, right? So generally the start date is October 1st, right?
Mm.
And then if it's approved any day after that, it's the start date is the day of the approval. So that kind of leads into I guess, your first question. Will you be out of compliance if you're not working for company A when the H1B is approved?
Yeah.
And I would say yes, if they file for a change of status, then yes, you would be, because you're no longer an F1 anymore. You're an H1B and you have to be working for the company that sponsored you.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm on OPT EAD, valid till May 1st, 2026. My wife is on F2 visa with me. My wife wants to travel to India for her sister wedding in January. Can she travel considering all the immigration things going on?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard nothing specific about a situation like yours and your wife's and any reason why you should not travel.
Hmm.
So assuming you have all of your other ducks in a row, and please do check with your school and your list of all the documents you're supposed to have. But outside of that, I don't really see a problem.
Nice. Okay. I got a mail today that I and my spouse B1 B2 visa has been revoked. We are both outside the United States, but we've also had H1B H4 visa pending application in administrative process for 1 year. There are no questions other than that's it.
So generally, when you're outside the U.S. and your visas are revoked, it's because, and then on top of that, we have H1Bs, H4 pending for a year. There's some sort of issue they have, whether or not it's justified or not. But it's something that is not typical for most people. Often these could be allegations of, fraud or something that happened criminally, or there's some sort of security clearance issue or something. And when that happens to people, it's often not because they did something wrong. Sometimes they got wrapped up in something that somebody else did wrong, and they've just been associated with that, right? So I think you need to kind of you have to find a lawyer to get more information on what happened, and then try to resolve it that way. Yeah.
Okay. I'm currently on H1B. I have applied for I-140 National Interest Waiver, EB2. So I got a RFE and I have submitted RFE. It's been more than a month from now, but still status shows its progress. Case is still being processed.
Is that the whole question?
Yeah.
So if you did your premium process, I can't tell if you did or not. If you did, they have 45 business days to respond. If you didn't, it could be 2 to 4 months before they respond.
Okay. All right. Can you pay USCIS application fee with gift card, as their website states that they
I have
accept?
no idea. But why don't you give it a shot and see what happens?
Nice.
I think I would probably actually. That was facetious. I'd be careful if you're doing this online. I think there's nothing. There's no risk because either they'll accept it or they won't, right? But if you're filing a paper application and you're like submitting a gift card as your prepaid card, that's risky because like, what if they don't accept it? You'll find out like 6 weeks later, and who knows what'll happen to your case or your status in the meantime. So just be a little careful. But my instinct is telling me, no, they're not going to accept a gift card. I don't think. I think prepaid cards are more like debit cards, right? But I could be wrong.
Yeah. Any updates on wage-based? I think we already covered this, Anish, but there's no updates, right?
Not yet. No updates.
Did they explain if I'm in Chico, or like if I'm in a smaller town, and I work for Chicago company which is paying me higher salary, so how are they gonna do a quota for a specific region, or am I still gonna get like
Yeah.
I
don't think we've gotten the final rule yet.
No.
So that's when we get the final rule, they'll probably address things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Here we go. I am on my STEM OPT and my H1B got approved, but my service is still showing as active. What do I need to do?
So hopefully you're in H1B status. If so, that's great. Just contact your school. There's typically nothing you have to do about this. CBIS activity has to be canceled by the school or by operation of the H1B, which happens on its own time. So long as you're safely in H1B, there shouldn't be an issue for you, but just check with the school to make sure.
Okay. If H1B change of employer filed in grace period but gets denied after grace period, what should be my next steps? Can I file? Can I file H4 spouse on H1B?
If the change of employer was filed in the grace period, but gets denied after the grace period, then basically as if it was never filed. right?
Mm.
Because there was a denial. So while it was pending, you were in a period of stay, right? But when it gets denied, it's retroactive. So that means like you have not been maintaining status since the grace period is over.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So you probably best thing to do would be to leave the country, come back in right away with the H4 visa.
Mm. And you cannot do that while being in United States?
The only way you can do that is by applying for what we call a non-patank, or kind of a retroactive request. Those are very difficult to get approved,
Yeah.
and you can't premium process that. It's H4, so by the time you find out about that, it could end up being 6 months or more.
Mm.
If you're unlawfully present, because now you're unlawfully present, or actually, I don't know if you're unlawfully present. I don't know when your I-797 expired, but you
Mm.
don't want to mess around. You don't want to be out of stats for a very long time. So it'd be best for you to leave and then come back in with a visa stamp.
Mm. Okay. I just noticed we have like 200 plus people on Instagram, but there's no way for them to. I mean, I guess there's no way for me to see your question. So if you want to get your question answered, come join YouTube, because it doesn't look like this supports you sending me question. I can see the questions, but there's no way for me to pick that question. Um,
So you're saying Google and Meta don't get along with each other? Is that what's happening here? That's a shocker.
yeah. Well, actually, technically it is not Google and Meta, because it's a stream, so the platform is not integrating with all of them
Right.
together. But that was a good one. Is it safe to travel to India when you are on OPT with a job during Christmas break?
Yeah, assuming all your other ducks are in a row, there shouldn't be an issue traveling during Christmas break on OPT.
Yeah.
Assuming you have visa stamp and everything else that you need.
Yeah. I'm a current master student. Is it safe to travel in India? Oh, in March. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Um, I mean, as of right now, I mean, I don't see. I mean, once again, make sure all of your ducks are in a row, in terms of what documents you need to travel. Make sure you check with your school and you have everything. Otherwise, I'm assuming these questions are like, is there anything different that's happening that'll keep me from traveling? And there's nothing different right now. So, assuming you are otherwise eligible to travel, then you should not have an issue in March.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, again, we are in that, every month or every week we do something. There's a different season going on. So maybe
Yeah.
it's November, December.
Well, there's also lots of rule changes that are very disruptive and they're kind of confusing and everything. So I understand the trepidation, but I don't think there's an issue here.
Perfect. Okay, I'm currently on OPT EAD and currently working in an unpaid internship remotely. I'm planning to travel to India for some family emergency this month with the return date in the last week of December, and the port of entry is New York. Are there any possible issues while returning back, or would you recommend skipping on this? So unpaid internship on
Right.
OPT EAD, yeah.
Yeah, which is legal, right? And it's right there on ICE's website that you're allowed to do that, right?
Mm.
So once again, assuming all of your other ducks are in a row, I don't see a problem with this travel.
Okay. I have a doubt regarding filing on H1B DS-160 form. In the form under the section work, there's a question for where you were employed previously. Should I mention initial OPT employment as well?
I mean, I think they're asking for all of your previous employment. So you want to list all of your previous jobs. Even if it was under OPT, it doesn't matter. You worked, right? So definitely don't leave anything out.
Can F2 to F1 be transferred easily? How much is the success rate?
I mean, I don't know if we have enough data to understand the success rate of an F2 to F1, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, so what do you need for an F1? You need a school to admit you, right? They need to issue an I-20, and you have to do your change of status application within the time period allowed by the I-20, which you probably can do under premium processing. So assuming you do all that, it should be a successful process. Sometimes there are other issues that can make those things harder, like maybe you can't show ties to your home country anymore, or some random issue like that. But other than that, it should be a pretty straightforward process.
Okay. A follow-up question to my earlier B1, B2 revoked. Will my pending H1B be denied as well, or what can I expect?
It's hard to say. I mean, if you've been under administrative processing for a year, there's some sort of investigation going on. Those things can drag on for a long time. It's likely that the two are related to each other, and it's likely that the H1B will also be denied at some point. But if you want to know, like, sooner rather than later, you've been waiting for a year, you could sue. You could sue them, USCIS, in federal court under writ of mandamus to try to expedite their decision. It doesn't mean they'll give you a decision you like, but there's a fair chance that the court will order them to, make a decision one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Change of status, F1 to H1B, cap exempt, first H1B, filed 3 weeks before and approved last week. Plan to travel to India for my wedding. Should I cancel?
Why would you want to cancel that?
Yeah.
I guess, like, I mean, think about what you'll need for travel, right? And you should be talking to your cap exempt, organization's lawyer just to make sure about this. But you'll need it if you're going to travel. Then you need to get a visa stamp, right? You'll need to. Oh, are they asking for the fee, the new fee? But I don't think this is subject to the fee. This is a change of status in the U.S., so that doesn't trigger the fee. So you'll need a visa stamp, and that comes with a small amount of risk. But other than that, I don't see any reason why you should cancel. It's your wedding. Ask your spouse how they feel about that.
Yeah. Hiren, if there was anything specific, maybe we are missing, but
yeah, let us know.
Okay, for an OPT offer letter for a computer science graduate student, does the below things work? Employment type, independent contractor, 1099. Pay rate is variable or X amount per file secured from an online portal. Potential monthly bonuses depending upon the company hitting monthly production metrics. Okay.
I don't think the amount of payment or the style of payment matters at all for your initial OPT. So yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. What are the chances of employer filing H1B for me because they don't know about the H1B visa and they didn't sponsor for anyone till now? I was working with them since 6 months in CPT.
I mean, I think it's a tough question for us to answer. Probably not very high if they don't know about it before, and they're not giving you the warm and fuzzies right now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm working for Amazon. My H1B is picked up this year. Is it okay to go to India for my stamping in November? I've got my dates as well, but I'm scared.
I mean, once again, there's always a small risk with stamping and travel. I'd say the vast majority of H1B holders sort of get stamps with no issue, right? A small percentage gets stuck up in administrative processing. So that's always going to be a risk you take on as an H1B holder. But for the most part, it's a very, very small risk.
Have you, what's the common H1B kind of held up rejections? Have you seen during the visa interview? Have you seen any?
They seem to be, at least, I mean, for our clients, like there's a certain profile I think that gets caught up more than others, and those would be kind of like your client side consultant, type jobs, right? But for the most part, it's been kind of random. Just kind of like maybe you're 1 out of 100 that they picked just to run a 221G check. I'm not saying that's a likelihood. I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. So there honestly isn't that much rhyme or reason to what we've seen.
Is H1B transfer open at Department of Labor?
So it's yes and no. We're able to file LCAs, but I don't know if we're getting them certified yet. They're only supposed to be processing perms and H2B LCAs, I think, and not H1Bs. So remains to be seen.
I'm in US and plan to travel to home country for the first time. H1B stamping. H1B approved in 2023. Will I have to pay 100K after first time visa stamping in my home country upon re-entry?
No, but you only get a stamp valid for less than a year, probably, right? Because it expires looks like it'll probably expire in 2026. In any case, no, you don't have to pay the fee.
Yeah. Okay. I think we already covered this. So, I think he had the follow-up question: is working as an independent contractor 1099 with a variable pay allowed on OPT? And does
Yes.
working as an independent
So long as you're
contractor,
working, it doesn't matter if you're a contractor or a full-time or part-time employee.
yeah. But for STEM OPT, meaning the STEM extension, could this be a problem?
It could be a problem under the STEM OPT rules. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on OPT valid till June 2026 and selected on H1B, which is under approval. If H1B visa gets approved in January 2026 and want to visit India for my marriage in February 2026, can I enter back on F1 visa? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think you could probably. I think you probably could. I don't know. Having the H1B might trigger still a bit of confusion at the airport. It's something that's not necessarily we can predict.
But wouldn't his change? So if H1B gets approved in 2026, so his change of status happened. Now he needs a stamp.
Well, I guess we don't know if it's change of status or not.
Oh,
is it a change of status?
uh,
That's the question I have.
I was making an assumption, but yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If it is a change of status, then no, you cannot travel back on F1 visa because your status has changed. First of all, it probably won't get approved. First of all, you should not be traveling. If you file the changes, you can't travel until it's approved, right? So check with your H1B lawyer to make sure what you can and can't do.
Yeah. I'm currently on F1 visa and I have another semester to complete my course. So can I travel back to India in December for a month and come back?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Can 2 years old US citizen can sponsor her 1-year-old brother for green card? Parents doesn't have US citizen and green card. Interesting.
No, he cannot do that. A U.S. citizen has to be, to sponsor a sibling. I see what you're saying. To sponsor a sibling. Actually, that's a really, really interesting question. I believe you have to be 18 to sponsor somebody else. I have to go back and check on that. But I mean, you can't really see what is sponsorship. Like you're entering into a contract with the U.S. government. You can't enter into a contract until you're not a minor anymore. So you don't have capacity, right? So I'm pretty sure this cannot happen.
Yeah. Okay. 3-part question. Was on H1B grace period. Got a new offer a month ago, but had to file B2 because of shutdown. Currently, B2 pending. Passport expires May 2026. Should I renew my passport before while my H1B is being filed or wait? In passport application, they ask proof of status in US. Valid visa is accepted. Can I use my old employer's visa even if 60 days are over, or should I give him 539 receipt? I think
I mean, it's always a good idea to try to extend the passport, but I'm assuming this is the Indian consulate, and they probably would know what a 539 receipt is. But I think there's a chance they won't understand what that is. So I think you lose nothing by trying, other than maybe a little money. So
And then finally saying, if my change of status is denied, I can go out and re-enter to activate H1B without 100K since I have valid visa, correct? What happens if my B2 is denied before or while H1B is being processed?
is there a valid? Could you go back to like part 1 and 2? I kind of lost
Yeah.
track of the facts here.
Yeah. So he was on H1B grace period.
I see. Okay. So if they're on the H1B and you have a visa, well, if you yeah, could you go
I
on
mean,
to
right now he's on authorized period of stay.
right?
Then the
But if we
second
go to
one,
part 3,
part 3, yeah.
if the change of status is denied, there's a chance that your visa will be revoked because, or dispel operational law, because if you overstay your status, right? If you overstay, your visa is revoked. So in this case, you would have technically overstayed the H1B, right? Because you left, you didn't leave. Basically, it's as if the B2 never existed, right? If it's denied, right? And if that's the case, then you overstayed your grace period, right? In which case, your H1B visa stamp will be revoked because you overstayed your H1B status. So.
Yeah. Okay. Is it faster to get green card through EB1C path as compared to EB1A for India-born H1B holders?
No, there's no difference. I mean, you're subject to the same quota, which probably shouldn't be the case, but it is. I would say quota aside, processing times would, depending on which company you're with, if you're with a very large multinational company, it'll probably go a little faster and be a little bit easier of a process than the EB1A. But the wait for your date to become current is the same.
My H1B got picked this year and I got my I-797A approval, F1 to H1B. I have my visa appointment in November in India. Is it safe to travel or should I postpone due to current situation?
I guess what situation are we talking about?
All of the immigration.
Just the current mess, just like the mess.
Yeah.
Remember, like you need to have a point to a reason, right? There has to be a reason why you shouldn't travel. There isn't anything that's happening right now that is directed at you, Rashi. So I don't see any reason other than assuming you have all your other ducks in a row. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't travel.
Yeah. I-797 valid until June 2026. H1B never stamped. Currently in home country. Will extension petition fall in 100K fee category?
If you're in your home country and you're never stamped, you'll need a stamp to come back in under that visa, under that I-797. So I would get that done first, enter the US, then file your extension. Then it won't be subject. But if they got to do, if you want to remain where you are and they want to do an extension, it's not really an extension because you're not there. But that will be subject.
Yeah.
So why don't you get your H1B stamped right now?
If someone on F1 STEM OPT wanted to start up and monetize it on it, pitch it for investors, what are the ways?
Well, if you want to do that on your STEM OPT, you have to have a co-founder or somebody else who owns more of your company than you do, or has more authority, or a combination of people that have more authority than you do. And then you could, in effect, be training under them, and then would be authorized to work in that way.
Okay. I'm on H1 and perm processing is in progress. My wife is on F1 STEM OPT, which is valid until August 2026. Can I file for change of status to H4 plus EAD for my wife when my company is filing I-140 premium?
You have to wait till the I-140 is approved.
Yeah. Okay. I'm currently on F1 OPT. My employer allows up to 20 global travel days, during which I can work remotely from outside US. I'm planning to travel to India and work remotely during those days. Will I face any issues returning back?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm doing my day one CPT and I have to attend class this weekend, but due to government shutdown, if my flight gets cancelled, I'm unable to attend the class. Will my service be terminated and will I be out of status or will I get an exemption? Interesting.
Yeah, don't ask Yudi and Samir this question. Go straight to your school and ask them. What
Yeah.
are they doing to help you? There must be, if there's any exception, any workaround, it should be their responsibility.
Yeah. But are there flights getting delayed?
There's a
Cancelled?
possibility that the president has indicated he might shut down some airspace.
Okay. All right. I had a doubt regarding filing. I think we already kind of covered this. So, what happens getting underpaid during H1B?
So if you're not getting paid the amount that you're supposed to be getting paid, it's not so much that you're out of status. It is a violation, but it's more of a violation on the company's part. So they're actually non-compliant, right? And you can actually sue them under the Wage and Hour Act. If you get a labor lawyer, you can actually sue them for back pay. But it's not a great situation because it kind of puts your status a little bit into a little bit of jeopardy because there could be allegations that you're not working. I mean, if you want to do a transfer, H1B transfer, and you have to show your paycheck, like it'll be apparent that the amount is less than what your salary is supposed to be, right? So it's kind of a problem for you too, in that way.
Does new EAD rule apply to OPT and STEM students?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I have an approved I-140 on job A, but if same company gives me an upgrade, job B, do I need to file another I-140 if SOC code change for jobs?
That's up to the company and their lawyers and how they interpret the differences in the SOC codes as it relates to the differences in jobs. That's not a question that we can answer here. But if it's a different SOC code, there's a chance you have to start over again. And it's not just an I-140, you have to go to do a perm, right? You can't just do an I-140 by itself.
Okay. We are a startup with 3 co-founders, one US citizen who's the official business owner, and 2 of us are on OPT EAD. What key things should our supervisor or company ensure to stay compliant? Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, Samir, you can do a quick answer, but it feels like a consultation.
Yeah, I think you need a consultation, but the US citizen should be the one who's signing off on the I-983 form and attesting to making sure that all the terms of employment are complete. You should, in theory, have that person kind of have more control over the company than either of the OPT EAD holders, right? So to fulfill employer-employee relationship. And as far as E-Verify, the company just needs to sign up for that. So anybody can do that. The current government shutdown can affect future H1B filings if that, I hope to God it doesn't, because that means the government will be shut down for like a year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's holding up E-Verify.
Yeah. Okay. When you did apply for your H1B extension and your current H1B has expired, but USCIS is still, how long am I allowed to work during cases processing? It's not premium processing.
240 days. Just look up the 240-day rule for H1Bs.
Okay. Nice. If STEM OPT expires in July 2026, can I travel in January to India?
I think you should be fine to travel so long as you're returning to an authorized form of work.
Yeah. Okay. Um, i- when is the best time to apply for OPT for graduating December? Uh, Madhav, this should be, yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, aren't we already in November? When is the earliest one can apply for OPT? I keep blanking on this because we never have to deal with this. It's 3 months
Yeah,
in advance, right?
90 days
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
I believe, and then 60 days after graduation.
So
Yeah,
you've passed the best time.
right.
So right now.
Yeah, yeah. But this is something your school should be able to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely
Okay.
check with them on timelines.
Okay. My OPT was almost unpaid, and my stamp started on February 2025. So, is it safe to travel for me and my wife in upcoming months? Uh,
I mean, if your OPT was unpaid, that shouldn't matter. Hopefully, your STEM OPT period has been compliant, and if there's no issues there, and you otherwise have all of your documents and ducks in a row, I don't see why there should be a problem for traveling.
yeah. I have applied for I-130 spouse visa in April, and the time on USCIS website is still showing 12 months. Being a citizen of US, how long is it actually taking? Any ideas?
I guess it depends on you're a citizen of the U.S., but who are you sponsoring? Is it a spouse? Oh, yeah, it is a spouse visa. I-130 spouse visa. Yeah, it's taking 12, maybe 12 plus months right now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I will go to OPT soon from F1. Companies ask, do you need future sponsorship? I can always go back to H4 EAD. Should I say no in case of asking you need future sponsorship? Huh.
If they're asking about sponsorship, then you can say no, right? If they're asking it differently, right? Look at the words that they're asking you. If they're asking you, do you have the unrestricted right to work? That answer is no, you don't. It's restricted, right? Or do you need some sort of work authorization, right? Through immigration or something like that. You have to answer truthfully. So just make sure you're reading the question very well.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend H1B needs an extension by January 6, 2026. As there is a shutdown, what are the probabilities of extension?
I can't. I mean, it's basically the same as the probability for the government reopening, which I have no idea. So,
Yeah.
but with your friends, if it's your friend, then and the government doesn't reopen on time, they'll probably be okay because I think the company will be excused and they can file late, right? It's not their fault. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is the immigration visa bulletin affected due to government shutdown?
That's a great question. I don't think so. We just got one recently. I think that was before the shutdown. We got one in mid-October. I don't see why it would be affected. Because that's a State Department, right? State Department processing mostly remains, as I understand it, unaffected.
I'm a H1B holder with a valid visa stamping issued under my ex-employer until September 2026. And I have my new I-797 with my current employer until 2028. Can I travel to India and back safely?
Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to use your ex-employer stamp with your current H1B I-797. So assuming you have everything else is correct and all your other ducks are in a row, yeah, you should be okay.
Okay. Thank you for answering all the questions patiently. With being said that, I have another question. Nice. I like this sandwich.
Yes.
My friend got laid off last year, but he has a valid H1B until 2026. So is he exempted from H1 100K rule?
So definitely we'll answer the question because you're buttering us up. But yes, or actually maybe. So He's laid off last year. What is his status right now? If he was laid off last year, he can't be holding the H1B right now because he's not working, right? So I guess it kind of depends on what his status is right now. And if he's in status, let's say he's in H4, and if he's in H4 and he wants to change back to H1B when he gets a job, for example, he should be exempted from the 100K rule because it's a change of status.
Yeah. Okay. I'm on my first year OPT and I got hired by some other company for 2 weeks as an intern. Should I update this on Service Portal or should I wait till the next year when I'm updating my STEM OPT?
Ask your school.
Yeah.
Ask them right now.
Yes. I think we already covered this. I'm a 2025 graduate, lost my passport a few months back, currently working full-time on EAD OPT. Is it okay to travel back to India to get visa stamping or is it a risk? Or do H1B stamping direct?
Well, you need the passport to travel, obviously. So you're getting a new passport, right? You're not going to be able to leave without one. So assuming you get another passport, where does the question of H1B come in? I mean, I know what you're asking. Do H1B stamping direct? Did you get an H1B approved?
Oh, yeah. There's a missing piece.
Yes. Please fill in that missing link for us.
Can you get RFE if you are on volunteer position in your OPT and you apply for STEM extension?
You can always get an RFE. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong, right? I'd like everyone to understand that. Just because you get an RFE doesn't mean you messed up. It's just the government being the government often, okay? So the question is, can you defend against an RFE, right? And you should be able to if you're in a volunteer position on your OPT because you're allowed to do that, so long as you can provide proof of that.
If a non-US company with no office in the United States wishes to apply for concurrent H1B, then what is the process? Does it require an agent? Can you help with such H1B filing?
No, it must be a US company that sponsors H1Bs.
My friend is facing a situation with RFE on his STEM OPT application. The problem here is the company which he has submitted, the application is closed. What should he do in this situation?
That sucks. Talk to the school. Ask them what his options are.
Yeah. I was laid off while on STEM OPT. Can I file for unemployment benefit, Colorado?
I don't know about the state laws in Colorado, Ramat. So you have to do a little bit of research. But generally, if you're on like a EAD, like you're on STEM OPT, that could be tricky. Like I actually don't know the answer to that question. So let's say you're on an H1B, you can't because you can't claim unemployment because you can't just take up work when it's available. You need to be sponsored, right? So the same rule could apply for STEM OPT because you can't just take up work wherever it is, right?
Yeah.
There's certain other conditions you have to meet. So I don't know if you can get unemployment.
Is the family-based F1 immigration visa bulletin affected?
The second person to ask this question, I actually don't know the answer. It's like I've been doing this for like 20 plus years, Yudi, and like this year, like it's really testing my knowledge base. The permutations that are coming out of these rule changes are like twisting and turning the neurons in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, as far as I can tell, the visa bulletin is unaffected by the government shutdown. But I'm going to check on that right now.
Practice for some, like, do you guys have, for immigration law, do you guys have to do like a bar exam, right?
Yes, we do. Yes.
So this might be a good test for them to attend this with a lawyer to see if they can answer all the questions.
Yeah, but these are so super specific, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They wouldn't come up.
Oh, yeah, in the
Yeah,
bar.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You looking up or we
Yeah, I
move
don't
on?
think it's, I'm trying to look it up. I don't think, and E-Verify is a maybe. It's E-Verify. But I don't think the shutdown affects the visa bulletin.
Mhm. Okay. All right.
I think it's one of those things where it's not so clear, right? The longer the shutdown continues, more of like kind of a pullback you'll see. Like they'll just start making adjustments to who they can afford to pay, right? Because they all depend on appropriated funds. So if they don't have enough funds, it might start changing. So
Yeah.
for right now, I think the visa bulletin is still functional, and we won't be able to tell. We still have another week or so, maybe 10 days before the next one comes out.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm on H1. I'm a H1B holder with a valid stamp issued. I think we
I
already
think, yeah,
talked.
we talked to this person.
Yeah. Uh, will it affect getting underpaid from LCA during H1B? If so, how many pay slips should be okay without affecting in future? Is it possible to transfer? Will it affect my new employer to file underpay?
So yes, so I think we answered a similar question like this earlier. Yes, it will affect you to be underpaid. You're not maintaining the terms of your employment. That's more a company problem than your problem. But it's a your problem in the sense that if you want to do a transfer and you don't have the full amount that you're supposed to be paid, they can RFE on that, and they probably will. So it might jeopardize your ability to transfer.
Yeah. Is it fine to travel domestically with expired visa stamp on passport but active I-94 on day one CPD?
Yeah, it should be. You don't need a visa stamp to travel domestically, but here's a catch. Okay. Some domestic travel requires you to fly overseas. Like let's say you're going to Hawaii, or let's say you're going to Puerto Rico, right? And sometimes the nature of those trips and the nature of the flights and flight changes may require them to fly through a third country or come back that might require such a location that might require um, customs clearance. So it's a little
Mm.
risky depending on where you go. So I would say stay within the continental U.S. if you can, and try not to travel over the oceans. And don't try to invoke any possible foreign travel in case of like an emergency landing or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess if you have an
Yeah.
emergency landing, you have bigger problems, but still,
Yeah.
it's something to consider.
Yeah. Can I file I-140 premium EB2 and I-485 application together? My priority date is current if I use cross chargeability.
Yeah, the I-140 can be premium. You can file it alongside the I-45 application. I-45 won't be premiumed, but you can file it all together
Mm.
if you're current. Yeah.
I'm on H1B and got laid off recently. Is it best to switch to B2 visa or F1 CPT or any other means I can legally continue?
It really depends on your personal situation and what your prospects are, and lots of other factors that should probably require you to seek a consultation on this because it's a very personal and kind of important new set of questions that someone needs to look a little bit more in depth than we're able to do here.
Mm.
And I think generally speaking, it's a tough market right now, and it's very hard for people to find a job within. They really have 40 days, not 60, because you had to find a job and then get another company to file an H1B for you, and the government shut down, right? So you can switch to B2, but then switching back to H1B could be hard because you're not in the status. So they can approve it for consular notification, not change of status, and that's going to trigger the 100K fee, right?
Mm.
F1 CPT, I think you mean day one CPT. That's what I see a lot of people doing, honestly, and that's super expensive. So there's no one perfect solution.
Yeah. My employer has tried filing my green card under EB2 several times, but each time they restart after claiming they found another candidate. My H1B expires next September. What are my options?
So if you're running up against your 6th year on the H1B, you can recapture time spent abroad to tack on to the end of that 6th year. You can get relocated. You can offshore, to let your employer have offices outside of the U.S. You can try to change to another visa like the O1 if you qualify, which is the Extraordinary Ability Visa. But my guess is you may not be able to, or if you do, you might need to build up your profile towards that. And I don't know if you have enough time for that. So you could try for NIW, I-140, which is like your bypassing the labor market test process. That's been the source of your issues here, but those are getting denied like crazy right now. So I don't know if that's a good move.
Yeah. But if he, I mean, we don't know if in his case, if he is a 6th year H1B and next year September, that's like roughly 10 months. Is that O1 not a good possibility?
It really depends on what he's starting out with, and that would require an individual assessment.
Yeah. Okay. Emergency travel. I'm on OPT ending January 13, 2026. I've applied for STEM OPT extension last week, so no premium processing. Can I travel in November or December with my current OPT EAD and the STEM OPT receipt?
And your visa stamp, you should be able to do that. Yes, I-20 annotated for travel. Make sure you have all your documents in a row, and talk to your school. But yes, I think you should be able to do that.
Okay. Follow-up question on my previous. I'm a food science graduate student completing my master's in 1.5 years. In this period of time, I have been working with them since 6 months. Chances of H1B filing. Okay. Well, I see. This, I'm assuming this person is, the company doesn't have never filed H1B. We still can't answer this question.
Yeah, this is going to go into the psychology of them and how much risk are they willing to take and how much money are they willing to spend. And these are all things we don't know, Mahesh. I would just ask them. Yeah. Do some research. This is where AI can be your friend. Help me with the questions and kind of help me with the information I need to get my employer to agree to filing an H1B, right? These are the kind of things that AI would be super helpful for.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Could you please advise me if the new proclamation fees apply if we change our status from H4 to H1 inside US for allied healthcare job?
No, if it's a change of status, it doesn't apply.
Yeah. Okay. If only one attempt remaining for H1B, can I go for day one CPT and my visa expiring in July 2026? Can I travel in India?
You can go for day one CPT. It's a little risky, but a lot of people are doing it and it's working. So I know it's super expensive as well. If your visa is expiring in July 2026, you should be able to travel in January. You're on STEM OPT right now. Is that where you're at? Yeah. So long as you're complying with that and all of your documents are in a row, then you should be okay.
My H1B was approved under my employer's old company name, but they legally changed their name last week. Same EIN. Do I need amendment and which name to use for pay stubs?
I don't think you need an amendment. If you have what they should give you is like a letter just explaining the name change. That way you can use that letter to, in case you have to justify the name change, like if you want to do a transfer and why are the names on the pay stubs different than the name on your I-797, or if you have to get stamped or for reentry after travel, you can just show them the letter.
Okay. My current company needs to file amendment requests for my new project tied to other client. As they have process to file it along with H1B extension, will it create an issue for my H1B extension approved until 9/2028? It,
I don't know what's happening with your H1B.
wow.
Yeah, it's not something that we have the information to tell you. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
If my OPT EAD expires in August and my STEM OPT extension is still pending, but my F1 visa stamp is already expired while my I-20 remains valid, do I need to leave US for visa stamping, or would pausing my payroll during that gap be sufficient to stay in legal status?
There's no requirement that your visa stamp be continuously valid in the US. You only need your visa stamp to re-enter after travel. That's the only reason you need it. So if your visa stamp expires, that doesn't there's no harm, no foul if you remain in the US.
Yeah. Okay. My son is currently on H4 visa and studying in United States. He'll age out when he turns 21, and our I-140 is in line for green card. What steps should we take so he can continue his education?
So how old is he now, I guess, is the question. How much It'll show me how much time he has left. But the most common way is you have to change him to F1 to get an F1 status, unless you somehow are able to have a strong enough profile to get an EB1A approved, in which case that might advance your ability to apply for and receive a green card, include him before he turns 21.
Yeah. Okay. Last question, maybe last question. If an H1B wants to release an app and earn money via subscription, is that passive income, or is that better to do via C Corp or LLC?
Okay. Release it. So you're on H1B with Company A. You want to make your own app and release it and earn money via subscriptions. That is not passive income. That is active income for work done in the US, assuming you did it here. If you did it abroad and then you get residual money, then that's okay because the H1B doesn't cover your activities abroad. Do you understand? So that's what I would recommend you do because otherwise it's illegal. Even if you do it via C Corp or LLC, it's still you doing it. So.
Yeah. Okay. My H4 EAD is in process. Will it be affected by government shutdown?
Should not be because the USCIS is mostly filing fee funded, not funded through federal appropriations. So, but there might be delays.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I think we have already covered, but I want to end there. Can automatic extension rule that was cancelled? Wait, that was cancelled recently. Currently on OPT, looking for employer who can sign my STEM OPT. What is the extension policy? Is there some grace period?
You are allowed to. You must file the STEM OPT before your OPT expires, and the government must receive your STEM OPT application before your OPT expires. Then you are authorized to work for 6 months while it's pending.
Okay. All right. One last question. Is 35K enough funds in bank to show for requesting 4 months of B2 change of status from H1B? Can B2 denied for that?
I haven't really seen B2 ever denied for a lack of funds in the US. That being said, once in a while it's asked for that, and so long as you can justify you supporting yourself on that much money, that's what it comes down to. So, assuming you can, you'll have to spell it out for that, but it's something that they very rarely ask for.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Samir. We will talk next week. Thanks, everybody. Again, every week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. California time. This is when we meet. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.